The real winner there, Michael, is if you can get, 3 or 4 clients that want that same feature to each independently pay to really make it like a true triple win. What is up, Michael? How you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Dan. Thanks for having me.
I'm super excited, man. This is going to be fun. Real quick, as we kick things off, obviously, what's the name of the business, the customer you serve, and how you solve their problem?
Yeah, the name of the business is Pre-Approve Me, and we're in the mortgage software industry, and we solve our customers are mortgage companies, and we help bring efficiency to a very convoluted process.
I love it. I know this space well. I have a lot of real estate clients. The mortgage approval process is obviously really important. So how long you guys been doing it? What can you share about the size of the business, revenue, team size, et cetera?
Yeah, we started it 9 years ago. I was a loan officer, standard founder story, right? Solve my own problems.
Awesome.
And we've been doing it for about 9 years. We really started to grow it 5 years ago. I think we've got 10 full-time people now, and we are at about 850 ARR, and
awesome.
hoping to hit about 1.2 by the end of the year.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yep.
Michael, how can I help?
Oh man, where to start? I mean, one of the biggest challenges we're having today is having the capital to scale. So we've circled the wagon with some of our customers. We've been having conversations at a high level about what it would be like to get them more invested in the product, which would then in turn bring success to them because they're leveraging the product. And so one of the, very top of mind things we're focusing on is how do we structure that? What is it like to approach a customer? What are you trading? Are you trading equity? Are you trading access? Combination of both? And, love to just pick your brain on that.
Yeah. So the customer financing for me is one of the most strategic and aligned type of financing options. And the reason why, as you mentioned, you get buy-in from people that you want buy-in from, and then you get capital typically at a less, the terms are a little bit more favorable as the entrepreneur because they're not professional investors per se, right? Whereas the professional investors might have some weird clauses around liquidation press or, discounts in next rounds, pro rata, all these kind of things. A customer that loves your product, they're like, I believe in you. I just want to invest in you. I want to see the product grow. I want to, support that. The way to do it, if you can, the best way is just kind of, again, I'm going to give you different levels. The best way is to pre-sell multi-year contracts and get them to pay up front, right? Okay. So it's really just pulling your cash flow forward. And the reason I do that is because it's customer financing. Essentially, you get to invest their current dollars today without diluting equity. And that you see this happen all the time. I'm involved in a company called Pila. They launched a product called Lomi. They crowdfunded $22 million worth of pre-sales. There's rules around accounting and when you can collect the cash to invest in the business. But at the end of the day, creating an early adopter program to get people to pre-buy multi-year contracts of new features, new modules, even the core product is a really great way to do it, right? So that's like this level. Then the next level would be getting customers to support the roadmap. So financing, prepaying to build custom features. And usually what you'll do is a 50-50 split. So if your hard cost is $100 an hour, you charge them 50. The way to do that right is to make sure that the requirements on your roadmap are aligned with what you wanted to build anyways. You don't want to start building custom dev shop because it ends up being a really expensive product to build when you're building one-off features for a customer versus your market. So That's level 2 kind of customer financing. Number 3 is kind of what I think you're alluding to, that is really, you want to do it as close as you can to just basic terms, right? So, if I would say what's super founder friendly, not so much, investor friendly. So even if it's a customer investing, it doesn't really matter. I'll just keep it it's a customer, but investment, same model should work. is if you can do it on some kind of like convertible note, a simple debt instrument, discount to the next round. Unless you don't plan on ever raising another round, then you might want to just do it on a pure equity, what's called a series seed. So you kind of like price the round, and you want to just give them very basic terms and try not to give up too much. When you're small, it's funny. I see some entrepreneurs that undervalue and other people that overvalue, right? So like at your level, if you were saying, hey, we're looking at selling 10 to 15% to our customer base, that's okay, right? Like you might give yourself kind of 6 to 10 million pre-market valuation. Okay. And you raise $1 million at 10% equity or whatever, that's fair. But I've seen other people give away 60% of their business for, 200 grand, and that doesn't work. Right. So there's really no difference other than, if you're going to do it, also consider going to the market a little bit, because if you already know that you can raise $500,000 from your existing customers and you've got that momentum, then you go to like, early stage series seed or like seed stage investors and you say, look, we're raising $1 million. Then you've already got the half committed. You just find somebody that's willing to write 2 checks for $250. And then you put it together and you can kind of raise on that 10 or 15% dilution. To me, that makes sense. And then it also lets the customers know that other professional investors are investing, so they feel good about the terms versus otherwise. Now, does that help, Michael, or do you have a specific scenario you want to kind of talk through?
No, I think that does help. It makes sense. And I think I am leaning more toward number 2 because, which you said was financing for the roadmap.
It's financing roadmap. Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's a real pivotal time in our business right now where rates are moving up in the States. Mortgage companies are really trying to find efficiency. They want to know they're planning for the future. Now's the time to invest in that. So it's good timing.
It happens all the time. I literally was on the team, my exec team yesterday, talking about, this product we use, and they're like, yeah, they don't have that feature. And I'm like, this is a $200,000 a year problem. I'm pretty sure if, I could get on the call with the CEO, or you guys could call him, that if you said, we'll write you a check for 100 grand to build this integration to solve our problem, they'd probably get that done in the next 2 months. Means that we don't have to we're going to have to migrate off their platform. There's risk in that. There's a ton of like overhead of management, project management, data quality, like just impact to our business, that for 100 grand, I'd rather write the check than have to move off platform. And, if what I'm asking them to build is like super in line with what they wanted to build anyways, they essentially just pull something that was a year out forward a year, get paid to build it. And it's super win-win. And I just think the real winner there, Michael, is if you can get, 3 or 4 clients that want that same feature to each independently pay, to really make it like a true, like triple win. Right. And you should want to do that. Like, let's say I go to this company, I'm like, I'm willing to pay you 100 grand for this. If I'm that CEO, I'm going to turn around to every one of my other customers that use the same integration that we have and ask them if they want it. And if they're willing to throw in 50 grand, 100 grand, and then take all the money, build it, and then deploy it. I mean, that's business. And I think everybody wins.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's exactly what I'll be planning on doing. Now, one question I have regarding that is, do you sort of sell based on the vision of that, based on like what they get in return as far as a product, or like the outcome? For example, in our business right now, there's a push massively for purchase loans because refinance is just dried up. And so now everyone's going like, I got to get out there and get purchase loans, which means competing for realtor business, And so I've got a very defined pitch for that, and, could project what you might be able to get as a result of it. Is that how you would put it in front of people?
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's like selling anything, right? If it's an add-on module or your existing business, you're always trying to figure out what's the ROI calculation. There's like kind of the left brain and the emotional side to it. So the impact is what you're always trying to pitch. And then, you justify it with emotion. Like, what would that mean to your business? What if you don't? And then all of a sudden the market shifts on you. Right now it's easy, but, and that's the beauty of it is like product roadmap and pre-selling to finance development. That's been kind of my MO since the beginning of building software. I literally will do a clickable prototype that's 100% prototype. I don't try to make it look too fancy, because then the customer or the potential buyer might think it's real. So I give them like clickable prototype and say, hey, Here's what we're seeing in the market. We're hearing it from other customers. Want to get your feedback. And this is the key, Michael. Ask for advice, get a customer.
Yep.
So use the I need your feedback on this thing we're thinking of building to get the advice on it and truly listen, like do some customer development. But then at the end of that call, transition to a sales conversation and be like, so it sounds like you guys also have this problem. And they're like, yeah, well, it's like, well, we're creating this, you can call it an inner circle, an early adopter program, customer advisory board. And we're looking for people that are willing to invest in this, to co-create it with us. And this is where I think your question was leading to, Michael, like what else do they get? Well, I like to do the customer advisory board. Like everybody that invests will get access to early features and help us co-create the roadmap. They'll obviously get first access to this product in beta, which will probably be 3 months prior to the rest of the market. So you have a competitive advantage. You'll get direct access to the CEO and his cell number, which is always a benefit for a lot of people that are paying for SaaS products. And you can even go as far as seeing some of my clients put, we'll put your name on our website under, like partners that support us. And that might just be value to them because they want the link and the recognition. So there's ways to like create an offer around that. But the core is you gotta lead with the outcome. It's got to be beneficial. They got to feel like they're getting a competitive advantage. And then everything else is really just stacking the offer to make it desirable. And then that allows you, the better the offer is, the more you can charge for it. And that'll allow you finance even more of your growth.
I love it. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Oh, cool. I appreciate it. Anything else, Mike, I can help you with?
Well, yeah. So we're spooling up marketing on our side right now and having a lot of, early success. And the result of that is that we're also getting more people signing up for our services, our onboarding team. It's loosely an onboarding team, right? I'm not the sales side, but I am helping people onboard. And we had to massively increase our prices to make that happen. But we're still struggling with customer journey, especially in the activation phase. Like, how do we bring success early to get them to first value? And so as we kind of scale and grow, like just any advice you can provide about that would be great.
Yeah, I mean, one of the core metrics that I talk about often, I have this framework called this precision scorecard, and it's time to first value, right? And I think that every company needs to define what is that first value. Is it sending an invoice? Is it getting your first loan origination completed? Like that to me is the activation step. If I'm building an Instagram, it's took a photo, added a filter, posted it on my timeline. Like everything at the beginning of a new customer sign up has to be focused on driving them to that first time value and track it, right? Like what % of your new signups got to first value in the last 30 days and how fast, what's the average time to achieve that? And then you can task your product manager, your customer success manager, depending on how your product works, to improve that metric. And the truth is the people that get there are going to use the product more, they're going to consume higher, and they're going to retain at a higher level and expand, right? They're going to start with a simple package and over time, the volume increases. Yep. So there's tricks to doing that. Okay. So how about I unpack a few of those? The one thing that I like to do is I really force the user into a setup flow. So when I was building Clarity, and you signed up as an expert or as a seeker looking for advice, we didn't let you do anything in the product, search, look at the directory, et cetera, until we got what we knew we needed to make sure you were going to have a successful engagement in our product. So for example, if you were a seeker, we would ask you, what is the number one challenge you're currently facing in your business? And they had to answer that question or they couldn't move forward. Why? Honestly, if they didn't know the answer to that and they weren't willing to give it to us, then I shouldn't let them into the marketplace. Because to me, but if I have that, what can I do with that? A ton of stuff. One, our recommendation engine was customized based on that answer. Our onboarding email sequences was customized based on that answer. The questions that we would show you from our answers product was as dynamic based on that answer. We would even be able to offer them free calls with experts that were willing to do free calls to build their profiles, right? Based on that answer. And we did everything we needed to do to get the first call to happen, even if they didn't pay for it. At the end of the day, if we can get 2 people talking on the phone at the same time, and it was done through our platform, we just started to build that mental trigger, that pathway of problem clarity. Man, that call was super valuable. I wonder who else is on there. Boom, 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 right? So we'd ask them that question. We'd ask them to pick categories of things that they felt like were going to be challenges over the next year. We even did this cool thing where we made them listen to a clarity call with Mark Cuban so that it would force them, well, it would essentially indoctrinate them into the product, right? Because a lot of people, we learn when we ask them like, hey, why haven't you done a clarity call yet? They were like, well, I don't really know how it works, which sounds like when you hear that, you're like, oh, I get that. But at the time we were like, what do you mean you don't know how it works? And then it was like, no, they don't understand like how the request works, how they approve it. Are they supposed to send something ahead of time? So we literally created this like mini simulation of a clarity call with Mark Cuban. And it was an animation that would say request and then accept, and then the call happens and then the call would play. So they could kind of see visually the sequence and hear what was going on to kind of get comfortable with the platform. So to me, there are certain things that, and this is the technical way of doing this, is it's called the click stream. Look at your best customers and try to get your engineers to log the activity stream by date. And so you go in the database, again, I'm getting super nerdy, but that's my background. Think of like all the objects that they created and did. So search, created a thing, did a thing, whatever. Sequence those in a timeline. And then look at your top customers and look at like, what are the milestones that they executed over that first experience, over the first week, over the first 30 days, and look at what's common amongst all of them. And then what you do is you front load that experience for every new customer. And that's the game plan that you give your customer success managers or your onboarding people to execute with every new account. It's like every new account has to, and you can make it a name like 7 steps to success, right? And every new account has to have 7 steps. You have a dashboard. How many customers have done those 7 steps? The time to first value is part of that, but it just also says like profile completion. Did they connect their accounts? Did they upload this? Did they do that? And then you can hold them accountable to an outcome. Does that make sense?
Yeah, love it. That's awesome.
Awesome. Well, Michael, as we kind of land the plane and wrap up, what's been the 2 or 3 things that resonated the most with you that you feel is going to have the biggest impact?
Yeah. So the 2 things really come to mind are just like understanding better how to present the idea of having my customers finance our roadmap. I mean, that's just
even the way you said that sounds so clean, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's clicking, and we've really struggled with fundraising. So this is huge. Actually, I'm meeting with our biggest customer tomorrow about this. So it's very timely. And the other thing is just like the click stream, understanding how to look from a data perspective back at what our most best users are doing in order to identify what are those things of value that bring success. So I'm going to have the team looking at that right away.
Bring those back. Yeah. Bring them forward in the product.
You got to start with the end in mind. So
that shapes the onboarding.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Love it.
Michael, super fun conversation. I love this stuff, obviously. And I'm really excited to hear how things progress. So hope you have an amazing rest of the day. We'll talk soon.
Yep. Take care.
All the best.